Chaik grew up in Ajagunal, a small corner of Lagos where dreams often died before they began. He and his mother lived in a tiny one-room house, surviving on what she made from selling puff-puff. But even in that hard life, Chaik saw color, art, and endless hope. He used pieces of carton and charcoal to draw logos and posters, imagining one day his name would be known. People mocked him, calling his dreams foolish, yet he never stopped. Every night, he borrowed his mother's old phone to watch design tutorials, studying what success looked like from afar. One afternoon, while helping his mother, he met Tommy, a classy girl from a rich family. She had everything Chaik didn't, but she liked his smile and sincerity. Soon, she started visiting more often, pretending to buy snacks but really coming to see him. For Chaik, it felt like a dream come true. He loved her deeply, doing everything he could to make her feel special. Even when he had almost nothing, he believed love could rise above poverty. But behind Tommy's soft smiles hid a truth that would break him. A few cruel words that would shatter his hope and ignite his transformation forever. The day started with excitement for Chaik. He had saved for 2 weeks just to take Tommy out to a small eatery in Yaba. It was his way of showing her he was serious about their future. As they sat across the table, his eyes shone with hope. He told her about his dream: to own a design company that would create billboards and logos seen all over Lagos. But instead of smiling, Tommy laughed, a cold, sharp laugh that froze him. "Chaik," she said softly but firmly, "you're too poor to dream that big." Those words hit him harder than any slap. She went on listing everything he lacked: a car, a laptop, a proper job. "You should think small," she added, her tone filled with pity. Chaik's throat tightened. His hands trembled as he stared at the food he could no longer eat. He had given her his love, his loyalty, his faith, and she had given him humiliation. When she stood up to leave, her perfume lingered, but her love was gone. Chaik sat alone, numb but not broken. Deep inside, a quiet fire began to burn. He whispered to himself, "One day, she'll see my dream come alive." After Tommy left, Chaik's world collapsed. His mother fell sick, and he barely had enough to buy medicine. He sold his only phone just to survive, often going to bed hungry. But even in those dark nights, he refused to give up. He borrowed an old, cracked laptop from a friend, and started learning design through free tutorials at a noisy internet cafe. People mocked him, saying he was wasting his life chasing a useless dream. "Go be a mechanic," they laughed, but he kept pushing. He entered online design contests, losing again and again, until one day, he finally won 10,000 Nigerian nairas from a small startup. It felt like the universe finally whispered, "Keep going." From there, he began designing cheap flyers for barbers, salons, and restaurants. Slowly, his name started spreading. One evening, his weak mother looked at him and said, "My son, don't stop. God sees your effort." Her words became his strength. Every day, Chaik sat in internet cafes, designing, learning, and dreaming. He didn't have much, but he had fire in his heart. When people called him poor, he'd smile and whisper, "Maybe today, but not forever." His dream was beginning to rise from the dust. Chaik was designing a simple poster for a hair salon when his WhatsApp buzzed. The message read, "Are you the designer who made this flyer?" It was from a man named Mr. Adeyemi, who owned a small marketing firm. Chaik's heart raced as he replied yes. Mr. Adeyemi told him to come to his office the next day. That night, Chaik washed and ironed his only good shirt, rehearsing how he would speak. The next morning, he walked into the office with his drawings neatly packed in a nylon folder. When Mr. Adeyemi saw his work, he smiled. "You have raw talent," he said. "I'll train you and pay you monthly." It was the opportunity Chaik had been praying for. He worked harder than everyone, staying late, learning fast, and creating designs that wowed clients. Within months, people began to request him by name. His creativity brought life to every campaign. When he was promoted to creative lead, he started saving every naira he could. His dream was bigger now, his own company. He finally launched it with 2 friends, 3 laptops, and endless determination. He called it Dreamline Studios, because his dreams had finally found direction. Within a year, Dreamline Studios became one of the most talked about design companies in Lagos. Chaik's creativity stood out. His posters were bold, modern, and full of life. Fashion brands, event planners, even music artists started calling him for work. People began asking everywhere, Who's behind these amazing designs? That question made him smile every time. He used his earnings wisely, buying new computers and renting a small but bright office in Ikeja. Instead of hiring only professionals, he brought in young boys and girls from poor neighborhoods, the same kind of dreamers everyone once laughed at. He trained them, showing them that talent could grow anywhere. Soon, a local magazine wrote an article titled, "The Boy Who Refused to Stop Dreaming." Chaik printed it and framed it proudly on his wall. When his mother saw his first huge billboard near Lekki, tears ran down her face. "You see, my son," she whispered, "God lifted you where they said you couldn't go." But even in success, Chaik couldn't forget Tommy's words. "You're too poor to dream big." They still echoed in his heart, not to hurt him, but to push him further. He was ready to make his next move legendary. Chaik finally got the biggest project of his life, a billboard campaign for a new African tech brand. He poured his heart into it, spending sleepless nights perfecting every color, every font, every tiny detail. To him, this wasn't just work. It was a message to every person who had ever been told they couldn't dream. When the design was done, the company loved it instantly. They placed the billboard in one of the busiest spots in Lagos, right beside the small restaurant where Tommy had once broken his heart. When the giant billboard went up, it shone like a symbol of victory. In bold letters it read, "Dream big, because poverty can't stop purpose." And at the bottom, designed by Dreamline Studios founder, Chaik Uma. By morning, people all over the city were talking about it. Photos and videos flooded social media with comments like, "This billboard gives hope," and "Who is this genius designer?" It became a citywide inspiration. And just when Chaik thought the moment couldn't get bigger, fate smiled. Tommy drove by that same street, looked up at the massive billboard, and froze when she saw his name written proudly across it. Tommy was driving through Yaba when traffic suddenly slowed. Annoyed, she looked up, and there it was, a massive, breathtaking billboard shining under the Lagos sun. The design was beautiful, bold, and full of life. She smiled, admiring it, until her eyes caught something at the bottom. Designed by Dreamline Studios founder, Chaik Uma. Her heart stopped. She blinked twice, whispering, "No, it can't be him." She parked her car by the roadside and stepped out, unable to move her gaze from the billboard towering above her. The sunlight bounced off the letters, making his name glow like gold. People were standing around, taking photos and praising the designer. "This guy is a genius," one man said. Another added, "His work gives me chills." Tommy felt her chest tighten. Tears filled her eyes as the truth sank in. The same man she had once mocked for dreaming was now the face of success and inspiration across Lagos. Her phone started buzzing non-stop. Friends were sending her pictures of the billboard asking, "Isn't this your ex?" But this time she didn't reply. For the first time, she understood what she had lost, and it wasn't just love. That night, Tommy drove home in silence, her mind replaying Chaik's name over and over. When she walked into the living room, her father was watching the evening news. On the screen was Chaik, dressed in a fine suit, speaking with calm confidence. "I used to be told I was too poor to dream," he said. "But I learned that dreams are free. Only the brave chase them." The crowd on TV clapped. Her father smiled and said, "That young man speaks like a leader. He's the kind of son-in-law any parent would be proud of." Those words broke her completely. Tommy stared at the screen, remembering the day she had walked away from him at that same restaurant. She had left a dreamer, and now he had become the dream. Later that night, she searched for him online and sent him a message, "I'm proud of you." But there was no reply. He had moved on, and she was just a memory. The next day, she went back to the billboard, standing quietly beneath it. A little boy selling snacks looked up at her and asked, "Auntie, you like that design?" She smiled sadly and whispered, "Yes, I used to know the man who made it." A month later, Chaik was invited to a grand award night in Lagos. The city's biggest names filled the hall, cameras flashing as he walked the red carpet in a tailored black suit. His name echoed through the speakers. "Creative Icon of the Year goes to Chaik Uma." The crowd erupted in cheers. As he stepped onto the stage, his eyes scanned the audience, and then he saw her. Tommy. She looked nothing like before. The pride in her eyes was gone, replaced with quiet regret. Chaik took the microphone and smiled. "I was once told I was too poor to dream big," he began. But I learned that success isn't about what's in your pocket, it's about what's in your heart. The hall filled with applause. Cameras flashed, capturing his calm victory. After the event, Tommy walked up slowly, her voice trembling. "Tyke, I'm proud of you. I was wrong." He looked at her gently, no anger, only peace. "We were both young," he said softly. "But pain taught me what love never could, to believe in myself." He smiled, turned away, and walked into the night, his award gleaming like proof that dreams never forget. Months later, Tyke stood quietly beneath his own billboard in Lagos. The evening breeze carried the sounds of traffic and laughter as people stopped to take selfies beside it. His mother stood beside him, her eyes full of pride. "You did it, my son," she said with a gentle smile. Tyke looked up at the glowing sign and nodded. "Yes, Mama. I did." The same street where he once felt invisible was now celebrating his dream. He watched the bright letters, his words, shining against the sky. "Dream big, because poverty can't stop purpose." Those words weren't just a slogan anymore. They were his life. He smiled softly and whispered, "Thank you, Tommy. You made me chase harder." It wasn't anger in his tone, but peace, the kind that comes when pain finally finds purpose. As the sun dipped below the skyline, the billboard caught the last light of day, glowing gold. For the people of Lagos, it was just an inspiring message. But for Tyke, it was proof that faith, hard work, and courage could turn heartbreak into victory. And this time the whole city believed in his dream, just as he always had.